Hi. Are we actually recording?
Yeah.
Oh, hi. Welcome back to High on History. I'm Jourdan.
And I'm Liz.
And we are definitely high on history.
Shoo, high on history.
Alright. So, this, this rabbit hole, started when I, was, kind of helping just go back with Cafe research, and I kind of realized that I knew nothing about, like, Stone Age Africa. Like, in general, I don't know jack shit about ancient African history other than, like, ancient Egypt. Okay, everybody knows about the pyramids, we all know about it, like...
Yep.
And then, obviously, we all know the horrible history of the slave trade.
I mean, let's face it, I'll bet almost all of us could use a definitive brushing up on the details. Like, the details, we're going to find that when we hit that period in the history, the details are going to be horrifying. But we're not there yet. We're sticking, for the time being, to the Stone Age. We're going to try to be a little bit better about identifying Paleolithic, Mesolithic, and Neolithic.
Yeah.
But today, I mean, we've been on such a rabbit hole, like, every new discovery led to another new discovery, led to another new discovery. We've been all over the place.
And my story, honestly, the reason why I'm wearing this, is my story actually starts 164 million years ago, with the Jabaria. Oh, I forgot to do my hands. Dang it. The Jabaria dinosaur was actually a long-neck plant eater, kind of similar to the Brontosaurus.
Okay.
164 million year old dinosaur. He was found in the part of the Sahara Desert in Nigeria. Sahara Desert.
Right.
Desert. Why is a plant eater's fossils found in the desert?
Well, I mean, because it wasn't always a desert, would be my guess.
Facts.
Well, not my guess. I mean, we're going to talk about the Green Sahara many times. Not even just today. Like, this is going to be a kind of an ongoing topic, because to understand humanity's journey through the world, you have to understand
the Sahara being green.
Yeah, the Sahara more than once. We have more than one Green Sahara.
And our first Green Sahara that I'm starting with starts with the Jabaria dinosaur. And the other two species of dinosaur that I'm talking about are millions of years apart from each other.
Okay.
And they are found also, let's see, there is the there is the Oronsaurus. Sorry, I had to scribble over that. And he's from the early Cretaceous period, and he was found in the Cameroon region.
Okay.
Which, again, modern day, it is kind of deserty.
Desert, right.
And he's from the Cretaceous period. He's 145 million years, and he was just your common herbivore. He was about 3 tons, at max 27 feet from what we found.
But again, an herbivore. So he's got plant life to eat.
So that shows 164 million years ago. Now we can kind of assume 164 million years ago there might have been Pangea. I don't actually remember.
No. We
didn't actually look that up.
We did not look that up. Keep talking about your story. I'm just gonna look that up just for funsies.
Yeah. So back then, it kind of would make sense to have more of a rainforest, more of a Green Sahara in that region. And same with...
parts of the Sahara were downright wetland from time to time, weren't they?
Quite a few times.
Yeah, quite a few times with massive waterways running through what is now the Sahara Desert.
Yeah.
Many times in its history.
And I will mention a couple other evidences of the Green Sahara. And but then we have the Aqualithic, who's 130 million years ago, and his fossils are found in Uganda. He's a meat eater. He's about 1 ton, 8 meters. He's a Jurassic period critter. Critter. Really? I called
a dinosaur a
critter. Sure.
Critter. He was a carnivore.
Yeah, he was
in
a
the
carnivore.
Jurassic period.
Yeah. At 130 million years ago. Again, another period in time where a meat-eating dinosaur would be hunting an herbivore species. Probably, again, representing a green Sahara, a very lush period of time. Now these fossils have all been discovered in what is modern-day desert. Which brings us... obviously, I'm going to skip a lot because we don't know... Okay. I had an awesome date. We just really kind of jumped into this. I had an awesome date yesterday, and all of my notes are out of order because I got sidetracked. So my notes are a little out of order. So give me a second. Have you found the Pangea 164 million?
I have. Well, I asked Meta AI. I don't know if I love or trust this answer, but here's what it says. The Earth was last a single supercontinent known as Pangea during the Paleozoic and Mesozoic eras. Pangea began to form around 300 million years ago, and then it has in parentheses MA, and started to break apart around 200 million years ago.
Okay.
It started to break around 200 million years ago during the Jurassic period.
Okay, so my meat eater might have been at the end of Pangea. Might have been. I am now skimming through my notes, trying to find my oldest dates. Going as quickly as I can.
Okay, and then it gives some interesting dates while you go through that.
Yeah.
So here's a brief timeline of the Pangea's formation and breakup. 480 to 300 million years ago, the supercontinent of Gondwana forms, comprising modern-day Africa, South America, Antarctica, and Australia. 300 to 250 million years ago, the supercontinent of Laurasia forms, comprising of modern-day North America, Europe, and Asia. 250 to 200 million years ago, Pangea forms as Gondwana and Laurasia collide and merge. 200 to 150 million years ago, Pangea begins to break apart during the initial rifting occurring between North America and Africa. 150 to 65 million years ago, the breakup of Pangea continues with the formation of new oceans and the separation of modern-day continents. So the Earth was last a single supercontinent, Pangea, around 200 to 250 million years ago.
Alright, and now that we have Pangea, which means the Aqualithic, which probably actually went extinct during the separation of the planet, because it sounds like it was happening while he was alive, or at least while his species was evolving.
I wonder, did you notice that Pangea is breaking up during the ultimate extinction of the dinosaurs? And that doesn't get brought up very often. I don't think.
Dun dun dun. Now we just opened another fucking rabbit hole. Never mind.
No. We have decided, for the time being at least, we are going to stick largely to human history instead of geological.
Yes.
Or
I'm only bringing.
There's other cool history that'll have to come up, of course, but.
And I'm only bringing up these 3 different species of dinosaur to represent the millions of years in between each one's lifespan that should have been when the Sahara Desert was green, which means there was some sort of global climate change, and we have archaeological and paleoclimate evidence, as well as genetic evidence to support why these species went extinct when they did. And then to bring us to kind of modern day humanity to the Stone Age, a little bit. We also have evidence of cave paintings that are 40,000 years old, I believe.
And that's super, super recent in the...
Yeah, up in the Caucasus mountain range and in the Cave of Swimmers, and that is in Libya and Gilf Kabir Mountains. We have cave paintings that are 15,000 years old of humans with cattle and wild animals such as crocodiles and antelopes. And then also the Green Sahara also is supported by supported the rise of the Egyptian civilization and in general widespread settlements. We talked about the dinosaurs. Okay, then let's get back over here. Sorry, my notes are way out of order. What really kind of started me on this was I wanted to find some of like the oldest like archaeological human stuff of what I kind of went down, and I'm gonna start with just kind of a general like really cool ancient discoveries again, and just kind of do some honorable mentions of like what humans have done as the Sahara was green throughout the Stone Age. And again, you have to think about these times. We have a rise and fall of civilizations that revolve around the time that the Sahara would have risen and fallen as an oasis. Mm-hmm. This is something I have noticed throughout everything I have done my research on. And I could almost put my life on like the Zulu nation and like the Great Zimbabwe Empire was all built when the Sahara faced themselves as a green oasis.
Right.
But I mean, like, we're not getting there. Some of these ancient, really amazing honorable mentions and ancient cool discoveries, I mean, like, it blows my mind with some of the stuff that I actually found. We're going to talk about Lamekwe, the Wondora Cave, Adam's Calendar, Ishengo Bone, and Wadi Halfa, which is such an old site, such an ancient site. It is still occupied today by people.
That's amazing.
It is a 3 million year old. Yeah, 3 million year old site. And it's still occupied today.
That is just incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so like that's some of the shit that I found. Like, humans are fucking wonderful. Forget the Anunnaki. I can never look at history again. But anyways, let's actually get started.
My mom is gonna watch this show. We should probably keep the cussing to him.
Oh, I do apologize.
If we can.
I'll try. I get too excited and sometimes I like to say naughty words. So, located in northern Kenya near... Now, the dude I was listening to, and the only video I could really find with the name of this, he had some sort of, like, British accent. So, I'm not sure if it's Turkana or Turkana.
Turkana?
But it's near Lake Turkana. Turkana.
I don't know either. I honestly don't.
So, like I said, he had a British accent, so I'm not trying to mispronounce it. I actually got a lot of really good pronunciations. I found African is so easy. Like,
Well, it makes sense because, we watched this amazing documentary that we're absolutely going to link, in the video, but, all language
comes out of the box.
Really has this root ultimately in ancient Africa.
Oh yeah, it absolutely does.
Well, I guess the Indo-European language winds up being a little different. We're gonna get to that too.
We'll get there.
But that's centuries in the future.
So here we find ourselves looking at stones that are in situ. And now in situ, I had to look this up. I had no idea what it meant. It means that the sediment around the fossil like what you're looking at, is so old it had turned to rock.
Oh, it's okay.
It is literally the earth around the item that you're looking at is rock now. That's how old this site was. And this was actually noted by the archaeologist, fossil and stone tool expert, Sammy Lacrodi? I might be saying his name wrong, I do apologize. And in this sediment, in this fossilized rock-hard sediment, they had found fragments of tools that had been, like, chipped away at. And they had recognized large two-handed stones that had been carved and chipped away into that these stones had been intentionally gathered. They had been intentionally chipped into tools. There's the flaking of the napping and everything. They also show signs of these tools, these stones, being intentionally gathered and almost not entirely mined, because the oldest mine that we find is actually in Egypt doing the same thing. I don't know anymore now. Wait, too far. Gone. 100,000 years ago.
Oh yeah, that's wait. How old did you say this site was again?
This site is actually 3.3 million years old.
Okay, so this is tool making by hominids, not even humans.
Yeah, these are not even humans.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So 3.3 million years ago, we
were making tools.
We were making tools.
Well, and not even us. The people who became us.
Yeah. So these possible creators at the Lamaikwai site could possibly be Anthropithecus, which is
Australopithecus?
Thank you. Lucy's family?
Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy.
Australopithecus afarensis. I've been waiting all week to say that.
I'm sure you have. So it could be her family, but she was actually found on the opposite side in Ethiopia region. So we're not quite sure. At that time, there was another species of hominids, and this is one of the newest hominid discoveries, aging about 3.5 million years old.
Oh, so even older than Lucy.
Older than Lucy.
Is this the Artie species?
No, this is Kenyanthropus.
Oh, Kenyanthropus, yes. An interesting, also an interesting hominid.
Kenya, being the obvious region that it was found in, is not too far from where Lamaikwai Tepe, Kenya, is.
Right.
It's actually in northern Kenya, so they do actually believe that the Kenyanthropus could possibly be the hominin species that was napping these tools.
Do they have evidence that Australopithecus was also napping tools?
Well, because Kenyanthropus is a little bit older, it is kind of speculated, but there is no actual evidence.
No direct evidence.
But 2.6 million years ago, there is Paranthropus, and he was discovered with napped tools and an evidence of a hippo being butchered.
Ooh.
So, like, there's a hippo a tool that was being napped.
A hippopotamus is not an easy takedown.
Yeah.
You gotta be incredibly strong and skilled and intelligent, probably working with other people.
Yeah.
To be able to take out a hippo.
Absolutely. So that shows that
they're definitely
early hominids were more than just hunter-gatherers.
Well, I mean, they are still hunter-gatherers, but they're incredibly advanced.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
More advanced than we maybe give them credit for generally.
Yeah. And we have Homo habilis showing up with Olderon artifacts. And Olderon artifacts are stones with intentional shaped edges on one side getting smaller. And what that means is, so, like, the 3.3 million year old tools have obvious, like, flint chips where it is meant to be sharpened, and they have obvious sign. The 2.3 million years ago, Hobulus collates the Jourdan artifacts, giving it a more precise edge.
Oh.
If that makes more sense, they edge it more.
Interesting.
And then you get the Acheulean tools, which are the modern day hominid tear shape arrowhead spears that we're all familiar with. And those show up 1.8 million years ago.
Oh my goodness. Oh, so again, still
1.8 million years ago.
Well before the appearance of Homo sapiens in the record.
So 1.8 million years ago, modern hominids do show up.
Well, not Homo sapiens. They don't show up till 300,000 years ago.
Yes. So again, still not even us.
Yeah.
And that was all in northern Kenya in Lemekwe. And now, fire. We cannot talk about the evolution of man without fire.
Without talking about fire. I looked this up too, because it's fascinating. While we don't have a lot of direct record that 81 before Homo sapiens used repeated super controlled fires, there is definitely evidence that other hominid species were effectively using fire before that.
So,
as I understand it, yeah.
I think you lead the. I think you open this topic beautifully, actually. So, this cave, Wonderwork Cave, I think I forgot to write down where it was actually found.
Oh, I think I've actually got that. I can pull that up.
If you could pull up where Wonderwork Cave actually is, because I actually did not go back to look that up myself. But this cave has been occupied for about 2 million years, which would put Parathropus, possibly even Kenyathropus, or Lucy's ancestors occupying this cave, or some sort of generational older hominid species occupying this cave. This cave is known to hold some of the oldest cave art. In the furthest back of this cave goes in like 30 meters. It's decorated. It's got a whole shrine. Crystals have been intentionally put there. There was cave art found on the wall. And then also possibly the first hearth where people returned to have a controlled fire. We do believe before this cave fire, there were still just accidental fires. But this cave fire was estimated to be 1.7 million years old.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So they that far back into the cave, then that's not lightning strike. That's
intentional fire.
That's somebody at least having taken fire from somewhere else and moved it to this location at the very minute.
That is having control of fire one way or another, whether they have tools. Unfortunately, there is no evidence of tool or how early hominid actually made fire, but 1.7 million years ago, there was a hearth that people kept coming back to. There is animal bone and ash that they were able to, like, pour resin mold of, and, like, just like they do with the ice in Antarctica. They pretty much microscopically analyzed it and dated some of the bone fragments to be 1.7 million years old. So...
Oh, it's in South Africa.
South Africa, okay. Thank you very much. And it's also littered with Jourdan artifacts, and I mentioned Jourdan artifacts were created by Homo habilis starting 2.3 million years ago. And those are and that's the intentional pointing coming. That's
right,
the edges.
That's the edges. And then weren't they also responsible with having the slightly smoother holding edge on some of their tools?
Yes.
Like where the hand was supposed to be, that's also the age where they start rounding themselves off a nice grip.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting. Like right away we're like, oh man, no, I need this to be easier to hold on to.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't even take us long to start doing that.
You get the 3 million year old tool fragment. That's kind of a two-handed tool. You kind of do have to have two hands for that tool.
Okay.
And then you get the Homo habilis tool, downsizing it to one
To
hand.
one hand.
And then
It's more precision.
And then 1.8 million years ago, you get the Acheuleans, which that's when we're tying it to sticks. That's when we've got it painted.
Oh.
That's when we've got the arrowheads that we see today.
Spearheads.
That has been all the way passed down to modern.
And the Acheuleans were, you said, 1.8?
1.8 million years ago. It is just called Acheulean. It is, I believe, Greek. Foot-tier shaped.
Okay. Right, which that makes sense because that's
Yeah.
the advancement we know they're making.
If it is not Greek for Acheulean, please correct me. I do believe it is Greek. And it's littered with artifacts from the 2.3 million year old Homo habilis, the Jourdan artifacts, the second set of tool evolution, the one-handed tools. And since that's in South Africa, that was amazing too. That shows that like throughout all of Africa there was something going on as our species evolved. We have Lucy in one corner, we've got Paranthropus in another corner,
Kenyanthropus over
in
Kenya.
And all of these all of these ancient ancestors are building tools simultaneously. It's like we have evidence across the nations. Are they? Yeah,
They're not
countries.
nations. They're not. Well, they're countries now. At the time, it was all just land, but across the continent, across the entire continent, north, south, east, west, central.
Yeah. And now,
I actually had my AI break down the continent that way to give me at least one discovery in each part of Africa in that era. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Cool.
It mentioned Wonderwork Cave too.
Dude, I actually
and Lake Turkana,
Nice.
Turkana and Turkana Boy.
Nice. So now we're gonna kind of jump out of. Hang on. Let me actually background. Jiggy. I don't know. We need.
No, I can read some of this stuff off when you do that.
Sure. Thank you. Fill in the facts.
So there's a place called Tumai, Sahelanthropus chadensis, discovered in Chad. Tumai is one of the oldest known human ancestors, dating back around 7 million years. So, wow. This find has sparked debates about the origins of bipedalism. Okay, so that's like way back.
Oh, wow.
Number 2, Ardi. Ardipithecus ramidus, found in Ethiopia. Ardi is 4.4 million years old skeleton, provides insights into the evolution of human locomotion and the transition from the quadrupedal to bipedal movement. We covered Ardi a little bit last week.
Right.
Number 3, the Litoli footprints in Tanzania. The Litoli site preserves 3.6 million year old footprints of early human ancestors, likely Australopithecus afarensis. These footprints demonstrate that early humans walked upright on 2 legs.
Nice.
Olduvai Gorge. This famous site in Tanzania has yielded numerous important discoveries, including the 2.6 million year old Ottawan tools and the 1.8 million year old Homo habilis fossils.
Wow.
Kibish Cave. Located in Ethiopia, the Kibish Cave contains fossils of early Homo sapiens, dating back around 300,000 years. These finds have shed light on the early stages of our species' evolution.
No.
Number 6, Jebel Ehud. In Morocco, the Jebel Irhoud site has revealed fossils of early Homo sapiens, estimated to be around 300,000 years old. These finds have pushed back our understanding of Homo sapiens' emergence in Africa. Number 7, Lake Turkana's Turkana Boy. Discovered in Kenya, 1.57 million year old Turkana Boy fossil is one of the most complete early human skeletons ever found. It belongs to the species Homo erectus. Wonderwork Cave, located in South Africa. Wonderwork Cave contains evidence of early human occupation, including stone tools and fossilized bones dating back around 2 million years. Ghana, Ethiopia. The Ghana site has yielded a treasure trove of early human fossils, including those of Homo erectus and Homo heidelbergensis, dating back 1.5 to 2.5 million years. The last one is the Nubian Complex. Discovered in Sudan, the Nubian Complex contains fossils of early Homo sapiens, estimated to be around 200,000 years old.
Yeah, we'll be getting to them soon.
These finds have provided insights into the early stages of our species' evolution in Africa.
So, alright, you brought up a lot of great points, a lot of things that we're going to have to go back to.
Yeah, we want to cover a bunch of those sites
I
more
want
in
you to
depth.
actually, share that list to me so we can.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually talk about Adam's calendar now. It was estimated to be built 300,000 years ago.
So, right there at the very beginning of
Homo sapiens.
And where was that?
This was in... My notes are unorganized, so I might have more than one spot for Adam's calendar. Shit. Sorry. I actually wrote down where Adam's calendar is.
I could look it up.
Yes, that would be awesome. Thank you, because I was supposed to go back and finalize all these, but then, hey,
Sorry, I shouldn't have asked a question I didn't know didn't have prepped. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, that kind of happened this weekend.
It's located in South Africa near the town of Kapshihoop in the Mpumalanga province. Specifically, it's situated in the foothills of the Mpumalanga escarpment, approximately 30 kilometers or 19 miles east of the town of Nelspruit. And my geography for this part of the world is so terrible, that means very little to me. But
I'm
that's where
actually
it is.
we'll call all that landscape bullshit from what I've seen with the Adams calendar. They actually say that a lot of those foothills that you were just talking about might actually be pyramids. I know
interesting.
I know I am making a crazy claim, and I know this is kind of like the Anunnaki theory, but at this point, no. If our ancestors were napping tools 3.3 million years ago,
You think they were building
early
mound structures, right? There's the mound people in Britain. And
Yeah.
Later.
Absolutely. So I definitely think they were building, so they say there's 3 possible periods, and these are circles, within spirals. When I looked at this, I honestly thought of, Celtia.
I did too.
I thought of Celtia.
When I was seeing
all the different spirals.
When I saw the the notion of the spiral dance, the Celtic spiral, was just very prevalent.
But these are stones within stones. I found a really cool stone. They call it the Horus Stone. It is carved like a falcon, and it points towards the Egyptian pyramids. But hey, guess what? 300,000-year-old site. Why is this falcon stone that they call Horus Stone pointing towards Egypt?
Well, because there was nobody in Egypt at the time, right?
Absolutely not. There ain't nobody in Egypt at that point.
That's interesting. So then they were pointing towards something else.
With a falcon.
With a falcon. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
There's all sorts of really crazy carvings, and as I was looking, some of these stones have holes and lines bored through them that line up with certain calendar, solstices, and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I saw that. And at one point, like, there's a gate that the sun on the summer solstice lines up, and the light shines directly through that gate. Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the center of a lot of these circles, there was like a main stone, and a lot of these main stones are split now with a tree growing through them. Nothing else growing anywhere else on this mountaintop other than tall grass. But inside each split stone, inside each center stone, is a tree.
Fascinating.
Yeah. That was just some really cool stuff that I noticed about the Adams calendar. There's many strange stones and carvings. I didn't get to look into it as much as I wanted to. I couldn't find a lot of great videos, honestly. And it's a site they keep hush-hush. It was hard to find. Wiki didn't really give me much. My AI kind of was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, I only asked it about its location, but it didn't give me much here.
Yeah. But I found it extremely fascinating. And this is a 300-year-old site. This predates pretty much all sites that we know of, like, lining up with, like, what could possibly be. They call it, I don't even want to call it that, but they call it Africa Stonehenge. But I prefer to call it Adam's calendar because it to me is absolutely fascinating.
And we're gonna, correction, I told you guys last week, we were gonna do Blickmead and Stonehenge. Some stuff has come up during the research this week, and I noticed when I looked it up how much further along on the timeline Stonehenge is, and that I cannot tell that story well or accurately without accurately setting the scene. So we're going to actually stick around in Stone Age Africa for a while and really highlight kind of the erased history of these great kingdoms that rose and fell before Göbekli Tepe was a thing.
Yeah.
And why this history is important to all history, to the history of the entire world, because history starts here. So we're going to spend some time with that, actually.
Yeah.
And then we'll move on to some really neat places: Cambodia, Japan, and yes, Europe and China and
North America,
Siberia.
Oh, dude, I can't wait.
There's.
I can't wait to get to some of the Neolithic Siberia and Neolithic. I'm going to Cambodia as soon as we're done with Africa.
Right, and I'm headed, I think, probably through the Levant and then into Europe. Back to Levant. I really want to touch on the Natufians a little bit more.
Right.
They were definitely worth noting in the record.
So, moving on to the Ashango bone discovery. Now, again, this was another one that I had a really hard time finding any information on. And you know what? This is where I'm going to say, fuck colonizing.
My daughter is going to watch us.
Sorry, this is where, like, a lot of history has been completely just whitewashed out. This Ashango bone was found 22,000 years old. It's 10 centimeters long, and it was found in the current, what we call Republic of Congo and Rwanda. There's 168 numbers, like, notches.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, most of these 168 notches are microscopic. You can't see them with your naked eye. So this is where I kind of like fall apart with all of the theories on the Ashango bone. They believe it could be a mapping tool for mathematics. They believe it could be a slide rule, a prime number calculator. They think it could be a lunar calendar. They're not entirely sure what the Ashango bone actually is, but they do have a good belief that it is some sort of actual, I think I touched on the Ashango bone as a base 12, a base 10 or base 12 calculator. And it was found with barbed harpoon bones.
Now, those barbed harpoon bones, those are interesting too, because were they not also found in what is now desert?
Those were found in present-day Congo and Rwanda. Rwanda. Oh, sorry, my bad. Yes. Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, I guess that area is still pretty green.
Savannah, I think.
Savannah.
I'm not sure.
So, I remember when we were watching some of the stuff we were watching, okay, so we start finding this spear tip that has barbs on it, right? And it's like a harpoon. It looks very much like the head of a harpoon.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that we know that there was lots of travel and trade and cultural innovation and then sharing of those innovations is because that harpoon style spearhead traveled all over Africa.
Yeah.
So that by the time people even start habitating Egypt, just about everybody's got a version of it.
Yes, absolutely they do.
This
is not meant for children. But oh well. I guess I should have thought about that when we first started making this video. Let's see. Yeah, no, just unorganized. I think we're getting close to actually getting into modern day Green Sahara. The modern Green Sahara.
The late Green Sahara.
Yeah. But I do want to stop, and I did mention Wadi Halfa earlier. That is the town. That is the location in what is Sudan. I'm sorry, it took me a minute to remember which country. I have Swahili Coast, and actually, that is what it was 100,000 years ago when this site was made. It was still technically part of the Swahili Coast. This is before the Kush. This is before Nubia.
Oh, okay.
This is 100,000 years ago.
Okay.
So part of the Swahili Coast is Wadi Halfa. There is cave art depicting, again, the Sahara being green. That's how old this location is. They do believe that it existed and it had been occupied for so long that it helped start the Kush and Nubian Empire. It connected the Swahili Coast trading ports to the middle of the continent. Like, Wadi Halfa was a very important location. There's stone oval slabs, like limestone slabs in the ground that are 100,000 years old that are believed to be foundations for non-permanent structures. Which, I mean, you build with what you got. So, like, that kind of does make sense. And that was found, like, these stone slab structures. The exact date is unknown, which I really want to call bullshit. I really do, because there's got to be a date out there. But everywhere I looked, there was an unknown date. But it was discovered by Waldemar Chemlinski. And he was alive in the 1900s during the raiders of the tombs. So, I mean, he founded all of that. And that 100,000 years ago. And now, let's see, I just want to make sure. Oh, and sticking around with the 100,000 years ago, and like I said, Wad Halfa is in Sudan region. Well, the first mines are found in Egypt. Also 100,000 years ago.
Which is just north of Sudan.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, Wadi Halfa, Egypt. Like, modern day borderline is still hop, skip, and a jump. And that has evidence of the first mines And they, of course, I did not write down, wait, yes I did. I wrote down the name of the stone because I'm smart. They were mining phenolite for its soft, volcanic, flaky material, structure, that's the word I'm looking for knapping tools.
Okay. So for its properties.
Yeah. And that was 100,000 years ago, so that's showing that they now are... phenolite tools were initially mined and gathered by the ancient ancestors that napped the 3.3 million year old tools, the 2.3 million and the 1.8 million tools. So we're talking about this site. In my opinion, don't quote me because I don't actually have evidence.
You're speculating.
I'm speculating. But this site could be like the original mine site. But I do believe some of these hominids that we have found are...
they're using the same material, and now we're just using it in more and more sophisticated ways. So that we're actively mining it by 100,000 years. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're actively mining it. And with Wadi Halfa, there is a 300,000-year-old trade network through Kenya. And that's through the Swahili coast as well, which is Ethiopia, where we see some of the oldest arrowhead spear tools. The Egyptians would actually call the Ethiopians the land of the copper face. It meant, hang on, I actually have the right name for it somewhere. Where did I write it? Ta-Nehesi, I think, land of copper. And then they called Nubia Taseti, which is the land of the bow. But Ethiopia has signs of, 70,000 years old tool, 300,000 year old network. Now, yeah. My notes are out of order. I'm sorry. I have to make sure I cover everything. And I'd like and I'm trying to cover it in a historical order as accurately as possible, too.
Well, we've gone from, we were all the way up to 100,000 years ago from 3.2 million years ago.
Yeah, I know, there's definitely something I have to skip because there is not evidence for it.
Well, also, though, I guess this is a good time to mention, we're going to deep dive some of these sites a little bit more specifically. But, as fascinating as this subject is, it's a difficult one to do research on. We were thinking about paying lots of money to get past academic paywalls so we could do a little bit better research. But, there just isn't a lot of public information, and the reason is that to say that history has been whitewashed is to whitewash what happened to history.
Yeah.
So one of the issues is that there's been a deliberate erasure. If they could erase, particularly the it's been ongoing. I don't want to blame a specific generation or decade or people, not the Victorians or whatever. All of the Victorians are, the worst. But there's been this deliberate effort to erase the
history.
The might, the power, the innovation, the ingenuity, the wonder that has been African history going back really so long that Göbekli Tepe looks like a modern village in comparison, and it sort of is. Like, that's mid-Neolithic, really.
and I'm still only talking 300,000 years ago at the latest, at the most recent right now.
Well, 100,000 years ago.
Oh, yeah, 100,000 years ago. I'd like to mention around 150,000 years ago, there was Lake Megachad.
Oh, yes, this is so cool. Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Lake Megachad was 150,000 square miles. He was much larger than the Caspian Sea and took up 8% of the Sahara Desert.
I'm sorry, how much?
8%.
Wow.
Of what is now the present-day Sahara Desert. And I'm sorry, that wasn't 150,000 years ago. That was actually somewhere between 15 and 6,000. I was jumping ahead of my notes. I am trying to catch up with myself. And
according to this, it existed 7,000 years ago.
Okay. So yeah, between 15 and 6. So 7,000. Thank you. 15,000, I think we're about, there's the Bloombo's Cave.
Oh yeah.
They're by the Khoisan people, which are the largest population on Earth. It's in South Africa. The Bloombo's Cave, it has 73,000-year-old rock art, I'm sorry, I could not say that, with engraved astrage. What the flippaduck did I write? Well, apparently I don't remember what my notes say anymore. I mean, literally, I don't even think that is word astrage. It is probably something I'm supposed to know what it meant, and now I don't.
Ostrich? I have no idea what this is either.
I don't know anymore. Ostrich.
Engraved ostrich! Engraved ostrich bone?
Ostrich eggshell.
Oh, ostrich eggshell. Okay.
Ostrich.
Oh my goodness, Jourdan.
Wow, I apparently did not know how to spell ostrich. Okay, so in this cave, Bloombo's Cave, they found ostrich shell that was engraved with stories.
Oh, wow.
73,000 years old, and then they also found flasks with carvings in them. Also about 73,000 years old. They have an original, they still have the shell, that made the original ochre paints that are the cave art in the cave.
Oh, wow.
Using
so they had a shell that was mixed in.
They have the abalone shell. Yeah.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, with the bone that made, and the ash and everything, the ochre, they still have like a paint palette.
Oh my goodness. That's...
Yeah.
What a find.
Yeah.
What a find. Now, I mean, finding the art, that's very cool. But finding the tool they made the art with, finding the palette, that is so...
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah. And I thought that was something really cool. Like, I mean, guys, we are going to be stuck in Africa for a very, very long time. At least right, I know I'm going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Because this is history. We've kind of, you know, we are gonna cover the rest of the world where we can in this time. But history really begins in Africa.
Yeah.
And so, as we go across the world and we explore other places, you know, moving through time, you can expect us to return to Africa a lot because, you know, for one thing, it's always an adventure for us.
Absolutely.
You know, American education, particularly in world history, just isn't great. So actually getting a chance to learn this stuff is super exciting for us.
Right. I'm actually going to cut the show when we get to Nubia and Egypt because that deserves its whole own episode as well.
I mean, Nubia all by itself.
And you can't talk about Nubia. You can't talk about Egypt without Nubia.
And you know, I thought that Egypt, everybody knows that Egypt is cool, but we learned things this week that I think made Egypt so much cooler for me after we learned them than it ever could have been before. So we'll talk about that some.
Right.
Are we gonna are we wrapping this up?
No, I'm not quite done with Egypt with my notes yet. How long have we been going for?
I don't know. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. So now 50,000 years ago, there's evidence that we start domesticating cattle.
That is not an easy task.
Yeah, 50,000 years ago, we're showing domestication of cattle. In a Dufana canoe in Nigeria, 5 centimeters thick.
Oh, this was so cool because you could just
8,500-year-old boat.
And we saw a documentary and it actually showed it. You could see the weaving. You could tell that they had pitched it 5 centimeters thick, right?
Yeah.
And it was an absolutely perfect, like it had that beautiful slender bow shape.
Yeah.
It was very, very well designed. 8,000 years old, right?
Yeah, 8,500 years
8,500 years old.
And so, like, with that really, like, being found, there was also pottery in Mali, 9,500 years old, predating both the Levant that we were talking about with Göbekli Tepe, Ereğli.
Right.
And it's also the second oldest site outside of Asia itself, where you said it was at, 23,000-year-old pottery?
Yep.
Yeah. There is the world's oldest baby mummy found on Mahogany, and it's a 7,500-year-old site showing burial of a child, like having like mummified remain, like entombed, and the whole region of Egypt around this time had vast times of agriculture. Like I said, they were farming cattle, they were domesticating cattle, and this is all because the Sahara is actually really lush and really green at the time.
Did you say Egypt? Did you mean Egypt?
I did.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Egypt right now.
Yeah, okay.
Egypt was extremely lush and green. That's how they were able to, like, determine, like, why is there the oldest mummy in the world there. And I mean, I'm sure there are older ones that we have discovered, but they were claiming it's the oldest infant mummy.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I'm going to kind of get on the topic of climate change. So every few thousand years, climate naturally changes. We know this. We're not going to deny that.
Right.
Now, as the climate changes, you get the life and death of ecosystems.
Right.
We all know this. So, for millennia, as this whole story has been trying to be woven in some sort of chronological order, I kept mentioning a green Sahara.
Right.
And now here we are to the most recent green Sahara, which started around 15,000 years ago and lasted up until about 6,000 years ago. I had mentioned Lake Chad. This is the Aqualithic era. This is the end of the Younger Dryas, and it was an age of great prosperity.
Up until this week, I had never heard the word Aqualithic before, but we did a little bit of research, and I am so looking forward to doing more because this was an amazing period in human development.
Aqualithic refers to specifically the Sahara Desert when she's green.
Yep.
She's also known as the African subprovluvian pump. Every few thousand years, this climate change, when she goes green. And if you followed my trend of history, even though there's a lot of gaps and we are going to go back and fill in, the Sahara is green.
Mm-hmm.
For that entire time. Or she's dying when an empire is dying.
Right.
And that's what I want you to notice, because that brings tools, that brings migrations of culture, language. This is the birthplace of humanity, really.
And it was in this time. So one of the things that that I came across when I was doing this was this sort of misconception that it would be at the periods when the Sahara dried up that humans were, hominids and humans would start fleeing Africa and go to these other parts of the world. But that, in the research, didn't turn out to be the case at all. What turned out to be the actual case is that when the Sahara is green, this is why it's called the subpluvial pump, when the Sahara is green, culture thrives, and I mean it thrives to great abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And then the people in Africa started moving out into the world, not to escape a terrible dry desert.
Yeah.
Although that certainly separated populations,
Mm-hmm.
and which led to unique cultural innovations.
Absolutely.
In those times, certainly. But it's when it's green that we really populate the world and send people, and it's the cauldron. It is the bubbling cauldron of humanity
It
in
absolutely
every
is.
significant way.
So 50,000 years ago, the Sahara was green again too.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about some of the things that were amazingly going on 50,000 years ago. And so at that point, that was the first Great Migration. And everything went over, like all the people traveled out of Africa. The first time the Sahara was first time of the Great Migration.
Right.
And then you have the Dryas, where everything kind of freezes over. You get the dry Sahara. People do actually leave Egypt. They do actually migrate out and get separated.
Right. A lot of them go down to
A lot of them come down to south, not even to Nubia.
Yeah, because it's not Nubia yet.
Yeah, it's not even Nubia at this point. And they will even go further south to what is present day Nigeria, the Congo, the South Africa, where we call present, it is Zimbabwe, sorry, it's always been Zimbabwe. That is an empire I cannot wait to cover.
Yeah. The Great Zimbabwe Empire definitely gets its own place.
But like, during this, like, that's where they migrated to, and then you get them migrating up towards the Morocco region, which wasn't
North
Morocco
Africa,
then,
right,
North
yeah.
Africa, and you do get them migrating upwards, towards
Into the Levant?
Yes, thank you, into that region, and that's where they start getting cut off. Those in the Levant, in the 50,000-year-old Green Sahara, moved upwards, kept moving. They kept going north. So Africans came out and went up and out.
And so they go into the Near East, and then also in this time they wind up going into
At that point, they go into Europe, into
and
Caucasus
into
region.
Asia. Right.
They go up through the Caucasus towards Mongolia, Siberia. They go up that way into Europe, and then they also go down into Cambodia, India, and out towards the Pacific to modern day
And
China.
this all happens in the first Green Sahara
50,000
migration,
years
50,000 years ago.
Yep.
That is
the first one.
amazing.
Yeah. And then, bam, dry ass. All of this time, and now I laugh at that Anyways, and then bam, we get the Ice Age, Dry Ice, and then we get another Green Sahara and a second Great Migration. And that's where we get, like, Göbekli Tepe. That's where we get...
And that's around 13,000, 12,000 years ago.
15,000
Okay.
to 6,000 years ago.
Okay.
So anything in the time period of our history, 15,000 to 6,000 BC, is Green Sahara.
Okay.
So thriving.
Just this is Africa at its...
It is a Garden of Eden. That is the best way I can describe it.
That makes sense.
It is truly the Garden of Eden when the Sahara flourishes. And I'm not going into it. I've touched on a lot of religion in the last few episodes. So I'm not actually going into it. But that is, like, everything I have seen. When the garden flourishes, we flourish.
That is amazing.
So she goes green 15,000 to 6,000 years. And so when she's green, we get another mass migration out into the rest of the world. Same routine, same path that they took 50,000 years ago.
Oh, wow. So, and then we... Oh, that's amazing.
So anything built 15,000 to 6,000 years ago were probably actually built by Africans.
See, now we're going to cover that, and see, this is one of the reasons why I'm taking a pause before we get to Blinkmead and Stonehenge, because I think that this is a really important piece of the history that we're going to need to cover in depth.
And that's a big claim. There was a video that we watched. We've already mentioned this video a couple times. I stupidly forgot to write down his name, but he's so good. We are actually linking him to the channel, and we will be returning to him. So please, if you want to understand where we're coming from with this, please go watch his video. And he explains this so much better than I can.
Oh my goodness, he does. It's chewy.
It's very academic.
It is very academic. It's so much more academic than we are.
Yeah. He goes into, like, all the genomes, and he goes into the genetic evidence of the migration.
And it is an amazing story, but chewier than we are qualified to cover, that's for sure.
Yeah. So we get that migration. And now, as that migration is going on, the Sahara does eventually dry back up, and we get kind of where the Sudan, we get into modern day Sudan, where
and this is the beginning of what becomes the Nubian Empire.
Yes, 6,400 years ago, Nubia rises.
Amazing.
So Nubia rises 400 years as the Sahara is still green. Again, a green Sahara flourishes nations.
Right. And then even when the Sahara starts drying up at the end of that period, Nubia remains
and they live along the Nile.
Right.
And they are the people of the Nile. As the Sahara dries up, as Lake Chad becomes what it is today, people actually migrate to Nubia, to Egypt, to Sudan, to Ethiopia, to the Swahili coast, and that becomes what we know it as today. And you can't really discuss, I think I've already said this once, or at least I said it in the
previous episode.
Not the previous episode, but in our deleted scene, our soundtrack. But you can't really talk about Nubia. You can't talk about the birth of Egypt without Nubia. And there was so much to go on about that I couldn't actually loyally begin to talk about Nubia and Sudan. So here we are, 6,400 BC.
And this is where
400 years before the Sahara dries up. And we've got the rise of the Nubian Empire, predating Egypt by 3,000 years. Just saying. Join us next week.
Yeah, join us next week. We are gonna, we definitely covered a lot of different ground.
Yeah.
We are gonna spotlight some of these specific moments.
Oh, I can't wait to get back into this.
And we're gonna have to cover it kind of in spaces, because it's super important to get a good timeline of what's happening in South Africa versus in North Africa, what's happening in East Africa, and what's happening in West Africa at various times.
Yeah.
We want to give full credit to just this amazing thing that happens repeatedly.
I can't wait to talk about the Bantu and
the languages. There is so much.
I mean,
of Africa, and what was first built there, what was first invented there, that exists in every corner of the world today, and it's going to be a wonderful journey. Like, I have definitely better educated over the last 2 weeks.
I never imagined world history to be this
and we
amazing.
cannot wait to take you on that journey with us. So come back next week for more High on History. Live long and prosper. Bye.
Bye.